When you know when God is speaking to you and you can recognize his voice, you always make right decisions and wise choices. Your navigation through life will be smooth and you won't have to deal with or suffer the consequences that comes from taking the wrong decisions. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to know when God is speaking to you, why you're finding it hard to hear or recognize his voice, and the things you can do to become conversant with his voice. Do well to watch to the end because one links to the other. So let's get right into it, shall we? God is always talking. And what makes this a very sensitive matter is because he's not the only one talking. Yes, he's talking, the devil is talking, and you, your inner self, is talking too, which requires you to be more careful so that you don't move in the wrong direction. So let's start with why you are finding it hard to recognize or hear the voice of God. You are finding it hard to recognize his voice or know when he is speaking to you because you have expectations that are distracting you, and also you haven't familiarized yourself with his voice. You know, when you have an expectation of how you want him to talk to you and how you think he's going to talk to you. Like, my son, don't do this thing. Or my daughter, and then they should just appear to you from the blue. So we get distracted to the extent that we don't even know that he's talking already. And sometimes we want him to say the things we want to hear. And if he's not saying the things we want to hear, we just think it's the devil that is talking or our inner voice. If you focus on your expectation, you will miss what God is saying and you will know when he's talking. Yeah. I wrote something down in my notes here. I also said you are finding it hard to hear the voice of God because you aren't conversant with his voice. If you know how he speaks to you, you won't be surprised or confused when he speaks to you. You know, you are able to recognize your mom's voice even while your eyes are closed because you've become acquainted with her and how she speaks too. So now, how do you know that God is speaking to you? Or what are the signs that you receive that make you know that God is speaking to me? The first way that God speaks to his children is through familiar voices. Oftentimes, he speaks to us with the voice of significant others in our life, those we respect. So God was calling Samuel, and Samuel thought that it was Eli that was talking to him, which means God's voice must have sounded like Eli's voice. Do you understand? God has spoken to me several times with the voice of my pastor, my dad, my sister. You know what? He's a master communicator and he will speak to you in the language that you understand. Number two is scriptures. God speaks to his children through scriptures. You might probably get this in the place of prayer or when you are not praying, when you are not even thinking about it at all. When scriptures come to you like that, God is speaking to you. You are not thinking about it, you just heard a line. God is speaking to you. So what I do when I receive scriptures like that is to first search for the lines that I received. So to know the portion of the Bible in which it is found, then I meditate on it. Maybe you are troubled in your spirit and you just receive a verse of the Bible assuring you that everything is going to be fine or is with you or you're going to come out strong. That is it. That is it. God's word is his answer. You can't separate God and his word. And the third way God speaks to his children is through peace. You just have peace, irrespective of what the situation is, and you can't explain it. He said that we speak peace, and peace cannot come from the devil or from your human voice that is based on reasoning, because the devil does not have peace, so he can't give peace. So you definitely know that God is speaking to you. God is not an author of confusion. Like, you will know, you feel it, like everything is under control. The fourth point to know when God is speaking to you is through a strong leading. You are just led to do something or to say something at a particular time or for a particular reason. It's so strong that you cannot resist it. And lastly, when God is speaking to you, it might come in flashes or signals, and you just know that this is it. I promise to tell you the things you can do to become conversant with God's voice, right? Number one is study God's word more. Get acquainted with the scriptures. Know his word. Number two is work with God. This you do through prayer, study, meditation, fellowship. And lastly is through listening and obedience. When you listen to his voice, ensure you obey. And by so doing, you become conversant with his voice. So if you have a way in which you use in knowing that God is speaking to you, do well to share with us in the comment section, and we will continue the discussion from there. I did a video on learning to trust God. This video will bless you like it's loaded. So go watch it, okay? See you in my next video. God bless you. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.